up to par. So I feel like you need to pick that away, but just banning it is the safest bet. And there is the Rumble that you mentioned earlier.
I'm just so curious, you know, obviously if you're not going to ban Rumble on red side, you know that it is going to be locked in. So what is the answer here from Kana? We have seen things like Galio in the past, you know, be a strong answer, but it doesn't feel like Kana's style. You know, he is really much more of that kind of aggressive carry style player.
I feel like he could just lock Jace.
That's most likely.
It's a fantastic champion for him, and I think that this team sort of lives and dies by whether Kana can get an advantage. And if he does have a champion like Jace, there's certainly a chance that he could get that one done. As that is a Maokai. Maokai has been very, very strong. And so he's going to be locked away here. Theoretically flexible, but likely going to Yike. And now will we see the Jace pickup?
And that's a twofold winner, as there did feel like kind of a no-brainer. Kana's Jace, as mentioned before, we are playing Fearless, which means that it also is denied from Zeus. And the same for the Maokai. Those are two picks that if HANWHA ever get their hands on them, you're going to be feeling very, very scared. Not going to be the case here. I'm wondering if we're going to go towards something like the Zinza, which still very high in priority
as well.
Yeah, that's
like
the other one.
Rumble, and then you could even look towards, you know, another melee mid here potentially for Zeka. Like you have that triple melee top side that can be really strong, but Wukong also really powerful. You know, isn't maybe as easy as that kind of Vi combo with the Rumble, but obviously does have that lockdown, you know, to be able to drop the equalizer down as he's going forward. And we saw Peanut look really, really good on it yesterday.
It also really complicates the pick for AD carry here because Ezreal's already been taken away. That is one of the safer choices. Do note, by the way, Kalista is still open, but I do think you're going to be feeling a lot more scared trying to play that into the amount of backline damage that's there. That HANWHA Life is available, and the Kalista really has been kind of hit or miss. Was very, very extremely high in power early on, but has somewhat dropped us. I do really like the Talia. I think it's both a strong pick into the Azir to break or blocks.
2v2, you can control mid lane and be able to move around the map through that. Though it didn't really work for Jackie Love here, when you watched him play in the LPL, I thought Top really played around that pick very well.
I would like to see an AD carry pick, though, because I feel like getting drawn into that trap of picking something like a melee support means that you can just get enchanted there on the bottom side of the map and really run into trouble, as the MF wasn't the top choice.
Yeah, the only other angle, which we haven't seen at the tournament thus far, would be that Xayah Rakan combo, right? We do know HANWHA love it, just hasn't really seen it this far in the tournament. The MF, it's really one of those picks that in theory sounds great. They have a good amount of CC already. I'm sure they'll be able to get an engaged support to end on as well. The Maokai in particular creates a great combo of the Talia to set up as well. But I do really think that trying to play any team fight later in the game, when this is the setup that HANWHA have, especially now bolstered by those two champions, it's going to be so hard for Kalista. We saw Jackie Love have this exact same issue.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think, you know, you want lockdown with the MF, but at the same time, I feel like a pick like Renata kind of goes pretty hard here, as you do have 4 champions that are kind of diving in. Can be actually really strong, you know, in the 2v2 as well. It can be tough for Alistar, but will be interesting to see if they just go towards Leona. That would be kind of the more standard option. They are going to go in towards Rakan instead.
Oh, I find Rakan's so difficult to play into this comp, though. There's just damage coming out of everywhere, right? And so Rakan, being as squishy as he is, he's going in with the quickness, trying to do stuff. He could just be swatted like it has been used up in this first draft. But let's get into it. Game number 1. This is so cool. We have a European team here, and we've nailed the fan chants. That is exactly what you want to see, as well as Summoner's Rift here in game number 1.
Yeah, what if it wasn't Summoner's Rift?
I know. What if we like...
Turns out, surprise, it's Aaron.
It's in Arena, baby. Which is where, like, if you try and look up anyone's solo queue history at the moment, it's really, really difficult because there's so much Arena. It's absolutely absurd.
But Arena is just objectively great. Like, I've been playing a ton as well.
I never said it wasn't. It's just really hard to scout now. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. You know, we don't need scouting. It's fearless. We're going to see weird stuff anyway if we get to the depths.
Top of the morning to Yike, says Peanut.
I did really like the little moment between Vladi and Zeka.
I also respect that no one broke the truce.
No, exactly.
Because if you break the truce, it's 5 years of bad luck.
It is a bad omen.
And it's a guaranteed sweep.
Both emoting as well. I think it was Crab versus Thumbs Up. We'd love to see it.
I think as well, that was normally a top laner thing, you know, where you'd be standing in the pixel brush and you'd sort of just be hanging out. Well, it's also Talia, Maokai, all sorts of other things, as Yike's going to move in and look to steal away this Brambleback. With the fact that Targamas and Kalist have such control of this bottom side, Peanut does have no way of getting over here unless he goes for a cheeky smite steal.
He's on a ward.
Yeah, everyone's on a ward. This is known throughout the Rift. As, all right, some aggression here as Viper forced to flash already. Kalist going to trade that one as both AD carries happy to lose those. And I believe we had just Yike coming in and taking all of Peanut's stuff, although Peanut does still have a slight advantage as far as farm.
Yeah, and part of the problem with that is, yes, they have bot lane prio, but because they left lane to actually go help him at the red buff, that meant that the earlier level 3 came through for Viper and Delight, and that costed double sums there for Kalist. Yes, it is traded for the flash on Viper and the ignite on Delight, but still, that is a 2v2 you're supposed to be winning.
He doesn't have smite. But wait,
He doesn't.
Peanut.
Yeah, Peanut's going to move on over, and Yike's going to flash away. Peanut does grab himself a blue, but Yike picked one up as well, so it is going to be the Maokai pretty happy.
Bot lanes do have to play a little bit careful.
And it does look like Peanut's going to be able to double scuttle as well. And again, for Wukong, you just want to get to 6 as soon as possible. Wukong is a really interesting jungle champion that he actually scales obviously insanely well into the team fights, but he does need a good amount of both experience and gold. So getting those extra early camps is quite good.
They're TP bot. They have 3 bot here, so this actually kind of has to work.
Well, see whether it does. Zeus, only level 5, wants to try and cook this wave as best he can, but he doesn't have the equalizer. There's the flash. As Connor, yep, to the skies. Targamas tanking things up beautifully, and that is going to be first blood over to Kalist. That's exactly what you want to see if you're a KC fan.
And the lane swaps, you know, they might be going in the early game, but there's still one.
Waves on top side to go for this dive bot. They had to make it work, and were able to do so.
And with that, though, especially if HANWHA Life is able to actually get all the grubs, I think in the long run it's a bit of a more even trade because, as you mentioned, a lot is invested, and Zeus is able to still TP towards the top wave to not fall too far behind as Delight.
Yeah, caught out just a little bit here, wanting to buy space for Peanut as best he can, and he should be able to do so quite well. Peanut now with one of these Void Grubs remaining. Now Peanut diving in. There's the 2-man pulverizes. Yike's in a bit of trouble. Zeka, he'll turn up. Doesn't have Emperor's Divide back available just yet as the Void Seeker barely going wide. Conquering Sands not finding the mark either, as this tree is looking pretty durable, but not durable enough as Zeka is going to answer. Picks up the return kill here for HLE, and I believe they also got, no, never mind, one grub going over to KC.
Yeah, Yike was able to steal one on the way out, but because he had no flash.
Need to respect, but burst alone from Kalist not going to be enough, and we do see now level 6 being slowly hit across the board.
Yep, Canna level 7 here towards this bottom side, really pushing that advantage. Currently 300 gold ahead in that individual matchup. But the CS not actually a margin that I was expecting it to be when I looked down there. As here's a flash pulverize, Killer Instinct from Viper all the way behind the KC bottom lane, and Peanut throws out the Cyclone for fun. The bullet time's there as well. Viper takes a bit of damage, but they do exactly what they're supposed to and take down Kalist.
Look at that flash timer, by the way. Look at it.
God.
It's about to come off by the time he respawns.
Not really finding one there, as I believe he was spotted on that cheeky ward around the grubs. Zeus is teleported towards the bottom side of the map. Both teleports on cooldown here for HLE, but they're still going to start up these grubs.
I think they just want to get 1 or 2 because they are down to teleport, right? Kana can TP in and Zeus can't stop him.
Yeah, so there is one of them. Vladdy going to be getting towards the top side of this fight. These grubs going to be split as there's the Weaver's Wall. In goes Delight, but he gets flung back immediately. That cow is a stake immediately. And Peanut just wanted to be cheeky. Will be able to grab another grub here, and now they're looking to try and exit the fight. Peanut's going to need to flash preemptively there as well, not wanting to get twisted advanced on, as Nimbus Strike will be able to buy him a bit of space. Canna catches up there, and a Cyclone going to be used defensively. Unfortunately, Targamas doesn't make it in, but it doesn't matter, and Zeka whiffs the ultimate completely. Is that grub worth it, HLE? That's the question, because they also lose the feats of warfare.
Not only that, they're probably going to lose a dragon for that as well, and I think the moment that they saw that Zeus had to use his TP to go back towards the bot side, HANWHA Life never really wanted to fully commit to it, but KC actually pull off the chase, get on top of their backline, and get a couple of crucial kills.
I mean, it just seemed like a lot of greed from HLE.
At the same time, that could spell some difficulties here for HLE that we're already starting to see possibly crop up. As we do round the 14-minute mark, These turret plates are going to be falling down. Some decent platage being picked up in a couple of these lanes, but no turrets under threat just yet.
Delight is in that back brush last time we saw him, so he's been waiting there for quite a long time. He's going to be looking.
Yeah, Vladdy does have the rocks on the ground, so can't actually use them to stop that headbutt. The flash forward from Viper, and that will be a kill. Shutdown coming in for the Kai'Sa.
Oh, and that is flash invested. If he had the shield on Archangels, if that was a Seraphs, he might have lived. Instead ends up going down. Gives the shutdown to Viper as well, who says thank you for the money, and Delight sets up the play yet again.
I mean, Delight was just there for a long time. He had been waiting in that brush for 30, 40 seconds, I want to say. Very patient, knew someone would be able to come up there and answer. The fact that it's a shutdown is insult to injury, and they're going to be able to get that tower.
Oh, man.
Oh, maybe? No, okay, it's going to go down. So, yeah, they get the first brick.
That's that fourth grub value, okay?
And there you go, paying off.
So, like, maybe it's already worth the investment. It's definitely not, as Delight's going to get knocked up here by Targamas, but not anything else going to happen. Kind of pushing on this bottom side, and he's gotten quite a ways through this turret as well, as Peanut's going to come down, try and stop him. Not actually going to get rid of that vision, as you can see Zeka making his way in, and this is another turret that is likely going to fall. There it goes.
And that
so
means
the answer comes through, and everything very even, as once again, Delight is pulverizing. Kalisk's going to get stunned up there by the trample, and he is dead once again.
Yeah, just way too far up there. A little bit of greed on that top lane push. You know, he saw, okay, maybe multiple people are down on bot side. Maybe I'm going to be safe here. Wukong's down there, but does not respect where Delight...
Sorry to cut you off there, Chronicler, because this has been the time where HLE has created all of their advantages. They've sometimes had a few, like, weird things in the early game, but this is where they really take control. And so KC, they're going to have to stay vigilant.
Well, the item spikes as well, hit one item on either side, but I think HANWHA Life, they're going to be feeling amazing. That Triforce on Peanut is big.
Well, there's the Nature's Grasp. Cyclone there for Peanut as well, as the Rift Herald is being ignored. Down comes the Rumble as well. Equalizer not in the most perfect position, but they split up the fight. They managed to take down the tree. And it is the Herald being secured here by KC. But they don't walk away with their tree and their jungler.
Yikes, steal is successful though, and it feels very reminiscent of the earlier play where the team fight goes the way of the other team. Yes, you get the objective, but you are going to lose the dragon, and we're going to see what the soul is, I think, shortly.
And that puts them at 2 out of 3 of those objectives. So KC now only 1 objective away from claiming those feats of warfare. Of course, it will be traded back for the dragon on the other side. But this is only the first objective claim for HLE because they never got a full set of those 3 grubs. And meanwhile, Kana just pushing up on that top side, playing heavily through side lanes, just trying to keep that farm up. Of course, Zeka will be able to defend the top lane tower for now, but a very close game, and I gotta say, KC definitely coming out ready for this series and looking really locked in.
Not gonna lie, feel like it is more competitive than I was expecting after seeing HLE dismantle TES. Yes,
the KC, and I want to make that happen as they get the mid lane turret here, are going to be able to open up the map with that.
Yeah, will be traded on the bottom side, though. No one going to be answering Zeka, so he gets ISO gold down there. He's going to be able to open up his own advantage, and Zeus realizing not in a position to actually take this fight, but we'll cancel the recall now.
He cancels it. We'll be able to get that point-blank harpoon as the flash out from Kana, flash to immediately follow there from Zeus, and he just cooks him. Solo kill from the sneaky Rumble in the top lane.
Yeah, and Kana, I think he was just caught chopping. Like, he went back in, he started recalling even though he was getting hit already, and unfortunately just didn't have eyes on it. Now they're going to go straight for Otacon, and that could be the kill that breaks the game open.
Yeah, Kana isn't going to be here for the longest time, and even though Otacon makes you insanely squishy, you can see as well, KC, I think, caught a little off guard. They have a lot of AoE damage, though. I just don't know if they're ever going to get to this pit. Look at the light there.
It's going down so incredibly quickly. Viper, yeah, no, it is just gone. Yes, they see it, but that's all they're going to see is Delight going to cancel all of that CC with his ultimate, and now realizing that they weren't actually going to go for a fight. It might be that they can get the cow, although he just flashes, gets himself out of there, and Otacon going to be picked up. They picked all the flowers as well. They had time to harvest.
I think that's going to be huge.
Opportunities there, as now Zeus pushing here towards the bottom side, but there's a teleport just behind him. Yikes, moving in. Throws down the ulti as Zeus says, well, I guess I'm not going that direction. Now realizing, I think, that he's probably going to be dead, as there are rocks all over the ground. He gets flung backwards, and there goes the Rumble. Really good timing on this one, as the Drake just spawning right now. And KC answering back beautifully.
Yeah, that's actually huge, because not only did they get the kill on him, he has no teleport, and they got the teleport answer out of Zeka. So big play there from KC, punishing the side lane.
Well, Weaver's Wall going to come through here once again. Vladdy looking for an opportunity. Seismic shove going to hit onto Viper. And the Shock Blast to follow up. That punishment just insane as he's still burning down, sitting at about 150, and he's going to have to blast cone his way out of this one. The rest of HLE just trying to play defenses. I don't think Delight is going to be as lucky as his AD carry. We'll have a Pulverize, I think. Yeah, there it is. And then he's dead. And so the Drake going to go over towards Yike at the same time. Dragon advantage here for KC as well as a couple of kills.
And it's back-to-back oopsies from XT1 top laners that set up a whole cascade of events. The TP, they get the Dragon, but the Calist.
Oh dear, there's a Cyclone. Zeka going to turn up. These Sand Soldiers doing some work. Doesn't actually hit Calist with the ult though. Only on to Targamas as now the Nature's Grasp. The flash from Zeka is aggressive, but the Seismic Shove is better, and Zeka will be taken down. Twisted Advance does it, but now Zeus is going to turn up the Equalizer. He's going to soften them up and then knock him down. Canna goes to the skies, looks to get some revenge against Zeus, but Yike is so far in. Now doing battle against a Delight that's only just come back, and Peanut wants to get some revenge himself. Behind enemy lines is this tree, and Yike should be falling, although he makes it back to the rest of his team. He's running, and it's actually Delight that falls eventually. He does go down, but I'd say that there should be a worth in all chat. There's another teleport to bring Zeus into this mid lane as he's booking it towards Canna once again. Calist will have the damage though, and Zeus is just gonna fall. The bullet time to rain on through, and that thumbs up. That's a good one. Well, there doesn't seem to be very many cliffs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they've been looking really, really good. They do have to be aware of the flash timers, though. Both Viper and Klee spent their flash, but Delight has his.
Yeah, Headbutt Pulp comes in. Targamas should be able to make it towards Vladdy if he wants to, but instead they turn it around. There's the shutdown onto Peanut. Delight has to get the heck out of there. Weaver's Wall comes through, but I think they've already won this battle.
And they might get even more. I mean, they're right by the Baron. The jungler is dead. They're going to go for it, absolutely. And now HLE have got to try to stop them 4v5.
Oh, this is a risky call though for KC. They could have gone for the Dragon. There are still a lot of teamfight ultimates available. Zeus, Zeka, Viper, and Delight all up there is available.
Oh, wow. Blowing the stopwatch very early here to Zeus as the Equalizer comes down. Delight looking for an angle. In goes Zeka. Finds two with the ultimate. Immediately he's thrown around. Does go into stasis eventually. Viper taken down. Zeus, the last man standing. He's got a flamethrower, but no hope. It's a double for Yike, and there goes the Baron. KC, they're looking at...
There we go. Use that Baron to pick up the Dragon. And the gold lead now broken.
Yep, this is the first big lead that we have this entire game. And it's to the tune of almost 5,000 at this point in time. Is Canna going to be diving on top of Peanut? Peanut is able to Warrior Trickster away, but Cavalry will arrive. And HLE, they are really going to have to find something in the tank here if they want to win this one as Nature's Grasp comes through once again. There's a wall there as well. The bullet time comes down as this Unbreakable Will is going to need to be exactly that as Delight utilizes it to get rid of a whole lot of damage. But now the Equalizer coming down. The quickness comes through from Targamas, not able to get on top of Peanut, but that doesn't matter. Empress seconds again, hits two. It's a double for Vladdy though on the other side. Canna going to be taken down, and now Zeus is looking to chase after Targamas and Yike. He has to sacrifice himself, but now it's Viper and Zeka chasing after the remainders of the Baron. As Yike should be chased out here by the Pigeon Man. And Targamas, I think he's probably going to be fast enough to get out as Yike. He's on vision. He's got that little sapling down though, and we're going to need a Shifting Sands from Zeka to be able to catch up to this guy. And Twisted Advance, not quite enough. So that's going to be the shutdown. Zeka now has a whole lot of money, but I don't think they're out of the woods just yet.
They're not, but that was a really big moment. If KC just get that turret or able to rotate to completely take out that ring of inners, that could have
been that much gold. Rebel Baron power play, I think, was under about 1,000. And so that is going to bring this game back to under 3,000 gold. The difference. It's going to be an honest team fight for either side. Try and take this, but KC so much more than that they can gain with this Mountain Soul being available.
And KC did just want to poke. HANWHA Live, they are the ones that need to be proactive. They're the ones that need to go in and make the big plays. They do have retaken control here of the river.
They just sort of
wandered in.
Yeah, the monkey and the cow just sort of like going forward. Pigeon getting involved now as well as Zeka throws out some sand soldiers. This dragon already down to 50%. Yike wanting to move on over. Let's see whether this Nature's Grasp comes down. The equalizer is going to be preemptive though, as Delight going to get rooted. Does have his unbreakable will, and HLE, you can just get them yourselves out, but instead they're looking for a team fight as Zeka finds some sand soldiers. The quickness going to get interrupted, and the charge comes through, knocked up as well, but he just shifts the sands, gets himself out.
TP.
Now without Delight, they're going to teleport on top to see whether they can take down HLE. Vladdy gonna get harpooned. He looks for some of these shots as Zeka goes golden with that Zhonya's, and in the meantime, Peanut is just gonna get melted. Two-man on the Emperor's Divide is not quite good enough as Kali's taking the damage here as the GA is gonna be popped as well. Man, that Bloodthirster looks completely broken as he one-taps Viper, and that could just be the end of the game.
And Delight is going to be up in 10 seconds, but I don't think he alone can do it. And HANWHA Life, they got the dragon. But if it comes at the cost of the Nexus, no one's going to be calling Worth, and Kalis being alive means that there's so much damage. We'll see 25 seconds for Peanut here.
I don't think they're going to be able to do it, as Delight just needs to try and get in there and stop this wave from getting towards these Nexus turrets. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. What is he going to do, like moo aggressively in their direction? I don't think that's going to happen. Trying to headbutt Callista away does make a fair bit of sense here, as down goes Delight, and look at this. These turrets do not last long enough at all. The first Nexus claimed will be that of HLEs after they chose the blue side here in game one.
And the HANWHA Life